Hello everyone, this is a short video to show you how we do Oryoki at Zen Center of Philadelphia. This is a form which is adapted from a longer, more formal, more elaborate Oryoki form, and ours is a bit simpler and shorter. So having carried your Oryoki bowls into the Zendo and placed them in front of you on the floor, the Jikido who's leading the meal chants will clap the clappers together and will say on his own, "As we open our eating bowls, may we and all existence be relieved from self-clinging." And then there's more clap, and everyone opens their bowl. So that's the first step. Your bowls have been carefully wrapped, and the first thing you do is you look on the right-hand side. You should find a little tip sticking out, and you just pull that, and that undoes the knot. And then you do undo the rest of the knot with your fingers. And on top, you're going to find a few parts of the meal. This is your wiping cloth that you're going to wipe your bowls with after you finish eating. So you're not going to need that till the end, so you place it by the side. This is your eating utensil bag. You're not going to need that right away, so you place it by the side also. And then the next thing you encounter here is your lap cloth, what we would call, eating informally as your napkin. So you take both corners in your hands, in either hand, and you just pull it open and place it on your lap. And then you unwrap this top first, bottom second, and you try to smooth out this wrapping cloth. Then you're going to make a kind of placemat out of your wrapping cloth. So you grab it near the corners on the top, and you lift it up, and then you pull it back, leaving a little corner stick out. Then you do the same thing in reverse on the bottom. Grab it at the edges, lift it up, and fold it back, leaving a point sticking out. Then you do either side. Lift it up, fold it over, leaving a point sticking out. Lift it up, fold it over, leave a point sticking out. So now you have your little placemat. You pick up your bowls with both hands. You move them all the way to the left. You have 3 bowls. You pick them with your thumbs like this by pressing out on the edges of the bowl. Pick it up, move it all the way to the end, pick the other one up, move it to the middle, and now you have your 3 bowls set out in order of size. Now you need your utensils. So you're going to open up your utensil bag. You can kind of shuffle it back, and in here you're going to find chopsticks, which you will take out and place to the left with the points of the chopsticks facing to the right. There's also a spoon in here. You take that out, you place it underneath the chopsticks with the bowl pointing to the right and the handle pointing to the left. And finally in here you have a scraper. So you take it out, you place it between the last 2 bowls with the handle of the scraper facing off the placemat a little bit. Now you're all set up for your meal. When the chant leader sees that everyone has set up their bowls, the servers bring in the food. So what you have are 2 servers. They come in holding a big bowl of food. They bow in front of you, you bow to them, they place the bowl on the floor. You pick up your bowl and put it over the serving bowl, so that in case any falls out when the server is serving you, it will fall in the bowl, not on the floor of the Zendo. So you hold your bowl, the server will give you a helping of whatever is being served. When you've had enough, you make the signal, enough. And then you place your bowl back on your placemat. You bow to the server, and the server goes on to the next person. So the same procedure takes place with each bowl. This signal means enough. If it's something you just can't eat, then you can place your hand over your bowl, meaning I don't want any. But you should try to be with the group and eat at least a little bit of each thing, unless you're allergic to it or something of that sort. So your bowls get filled with the food, and the last bowl has juice or tea in it, and you're ready to eat. So once everyone is served, the chant leader does another little chant all by himself. He says, "This food comes from the efforts of many workers, past and present, and its 10 advantages give us health and well-being and promote strong practice. We offer this meal of 3 qualities and 6 tastes to everyone everywhere and to all the life of the universe." Then the chant leader claps again, and everyone joins in and says this chant together. "First, 72 laborers brought us this food. We should know how it comes to us. Second, as we receive this offering, we should seek to understand its true nature. Third, as we desire the natural order of our minds to be free from clinging, we must be aware of our greed. Fourth, to enjoy our life, we take this food. Fifth, to attain the way, we take this food." The first portion is for the 3 treasures, and here you're going to pick up your utensils. So as you say, the first portion is for the 3 treasures. You place your spoon with the handle facing straight out in your first bowl. The second is for our teachers and parents. You place your chopsticks at a 45-degree angle on your middle bowl. The third is for all nations and all beings. Thus, we enjoy this food with everyone. So when you get to the line, enjoy this food with everyone. You pick up your first bowl, 2 fingers in front, thumbs in back, and elevate the bowl to about eye level. Thus, we eat this food with everyone. We eat to stop all harming, to practice serving, and to accomplish the awakened way. You bow, and then you may take your first bite of your food. You always take your first bite from the first bowl, but once you've done that, you can eat your food in any way you like. You can combine 2 bowls if you think you want to eat them together, or you could eat all of the second one and then go back to the first. Whatever you enjoy, you could do it that way. So we all proceed through our Oryoki. It's totally silent. No one is saying anything. We're trying to make it a silent meal, not just by not talking, but by the way we handle our utensils. Trying not to rattle around our spoons and chopsticks and drop our bowls and make a lot of clangs and clings. So we proceed to eat when the chant leader sees that everyone has completed their eating. The teacher is going to signal the next step, which would be, now we have empty bowls, no food in any bowl, and we're going to scrape the bowls with our scraper in order to prepare them for washing. So the teacher picks up the spoon and the scraper at the same time, places the scraper now in the first bowl, removing the spoon. Then the spoon should be a little dirty by now, so you lick the spoon, holding your hand in front of your mouth for politeness sake, and then you place this spoon this way. It's like a turtle with the bowl on the other side. Same with the chopsticks, and place them on the same side. Chopsticks are on the upper position, spoon is in the lower position. Now you have 3 bowls which are dirty because they've had food in them, and you have the scraper. So you pick up your first bowl with your scraper, and you scrape the food, licking it off your scraper as you go. It's not necessary to get it, 100% clean because we're going to clean it with water. But you should get as much out as you can without being obsessive. So then you go to your second bowl, scrape it, and place it down again. The third bowl usually is not very dirty. It only had juice or tea in it, so I usually just scrape the drops into the corner and drink them. And now you have 3 semi-clean bowls. The next thing that's going to happen is water is going to come in, and you will clean the bowls with water. So the servers come back in. They have a tea kettle with hot water, and in that hot water is a tea bag, which is a little acidic and helps to cut the grease in the bowls. So the water is served in the same way as the food. The person comes in front of you, you bow to them, you pick up your bowl, you hold it out, they pour a little bit of water in, and then you can signal to them when you've had enough water, and then you bow to them, they bow to you, and off they go to the next person. Each person will begin cleaning their bowls with the hot water. You don't have to wait for everyone for the server to have served everyone. As soon as you get your hot water, you can begin scraping your bowls with the hot water. And then you're going to pour, when the first bowl is sufficiently clean, you're going to pour the water into the center bowl. Place your hand over it to avoid splashes, and you pour that hot water into the second bowl. And you can scrape it out if you need to. And then place this bowl down, place this scraper in the middle bowl, and at this point your wiping cloth is going to come into play. So you open up your wiping cloth and you dry this first bowl. Sometimes the outer portion of your bowl is dirty depending on what you ate and how neat you were. So sometimes what you want to do is before you dry, you want to place this bowl in the middle bowl and kind of turn it around and scrape off the food there. But you don't always have to do that. Then you kind of keep your wiping cloth, sort of wad it up in your first bowl, and now it's time to do your second bowl. In your second bowl, you're going to wash these utensils. So before you wash the bowl, you wash the utensils. First the spoon, stick it in the hot water, scrape it off, dry it, and place it back in the utensil bag. Same with the chopsticks. Sometimes you didn't use one of them. If you didn't, you don't have to wash them. You can just put them back. Chopsticks go back. It's helpful, see, if you hold it so that when it goes in, it doesn't make a big clink. Because remember, we're trying to be quiet. So, now we have the second bowl. We've washed our utensils in. Now we're going to clean this bowl itself. You have to remember that this water in here is sometimes very hot. So you want to make sure you're stable when you're holding the bowl so you don't spill it. It could burn. So it's good to place it on your knee. That's one way to do it. The other way is just leave it on the placemat and scrape there. So when you have scraped that bowl, you're going to do a little presto changeo thing. You cross your hands and you move the far right bowl into the center, just exchanging them. So now you have this bowl in the middle, this bowl with the hot water in it is here, and you always pour to the middle. So you're pouring this in there. Again, this one is now clean, you dry it, and you place it in the bowl, being careful not to make big clangs. And now this is this bowl you clean in whatever way it needs to be cleaned. And now you're finished using this scraper because all the bowls are clean and scraped. So you dry it off and you can put it back in your utensil bag. Okay, so this, when you finish the cleaning, you can make a small bow. You can lift up the center bowl. This is the water that you washed your bowls in. and you can drink some of it if you're thirsty. But you should always leave a little in the bowl, because the next thing that's going to happen formally is that someone's going to come around with an offering bowl. So when all have finished with their bowls, the chant leader will say, "The water with which I wash these bowls tastes like ambrosia. I offer it for a peaceful life for all beings. May we appreciate our life together." So we all say that together. And as the server comes around, it's the same thing. You bow to him, he bows to you. And he's offering a bowl, which has got nothing in it but water. So you pick up your bowl. Again, you put your hand over for splashes. Pour it into the offering bowl. And now this can be dried. And the server is on to the next person. What will happen with this water that is an offering is after the meal, the servers will take this water outside and offer it to a plant or a shrub. It's a very nutritious water because it has lots of particles of food in it. And this is a way of honoring each and everything, down to the smallest scrap of food, and valuing its contribution. So we offer it, we don't waste it, and it enriches the earth. Okay, so once you've made your offering, you've dried your bowls, you pick up all bowls, you put them in the center again. At this point, you can take out your wiping cloth. You're finished with that. And you can fold it up in a rough fold. It doesn't, at this point it's kind of damp and limp, so it doesn't look too neat as it did when you started. You just kind of fold it up roughly and place it aside. You're not needing it right away. So now you have the 3 bowls in the center, your placemat, and you've got to put it all back together again so that it looks like it looked when you got it in the first place. So you pull out the top corner, the bottom corner, and both side corners. And this is a part that a lot of people get wrong. The first thing you do is you wrap the wrapping cloth around the bowls. You don't start folding up these things and putting them on top yet. So you put your bottom corner up, your top corner down, and now you're going to lay everything else on top. So you pick up your lap cloth this way. You see there's a line right in the middle where you ironed it. You stick the right hand underneath and grab it at that place, and then you just flip it over. And then you're gonna fold it like an accordion. If you've ironed it nicely, Sangha members, then it folds very, very easily. If you haven't, it might be a little more difficult. So then you place that on top. You have these 2 corners which are facing to the left. It always goes, 2 corners go on the top and facing to the left. Because remember, when you first sat down, you picked it up that way and opened it up. Then on top of that is going to go your utensil bag. So you place that on top with the flap at the top, kind of centering it. And then on top of that is going to go your wiping cloth. As I mentioned, your wiping cloth at this point has, it's kind of a little stained and dirty and it's damp. So you place it like this, not so folded, because in a long session you'd be eating the next meal from the same bowls. And so you want the wiping cloth to dry out before you start the next meal. Once you've got all that stuff placed on top, this is the part that everybody has a hard time with. You have to tie the knot back up again. So how you do that is this way. I usually try to fold this a little bit towards the bowls and then pick it up. Place your hand, palm up, your left hand, and the cloth goes between your thumb and your finger and your little finger and your, and you pull this up. This is at about 2 o'clock, okay? And then you do the other side, this similar. You fold it and you pick it up. This side is going to go between these two fingers. So you have it crossed over. You have like two rabbit ears. One's at 2 o'clock, one's at 11 o'clock. You hold this 2 o'clock one and you make like a little hook of your finger and you pull this 11 o'clock one under. Okay? And the secret of doing it is to really do this tight. If it's very loose, you don't have enough cloth left to tie a knot, so you have to pull it kind of tight. And you can tuck in your edges here, make it look a little neater. And now here's the part that everyone gets wrong. You take two fingers, you put it on the bottom flap, and you anchor it with your thumb. And then you take this other one, it comes in back of that, over the thumb, and between these two fingers. And then you hold this down with your finger. And you pull on this, and this makes the knot. You pull up. So here's a little tip that you're going to pull to open it all up when you're going to open your bowls. So now you have your bowl looking exactly the way it looked when you got it, except that your wiping cloth is a little sticking out a little bigger. You fold this tip back. This is supposed to look like a lotus petal. It covers the knot. It always faces away from you. And you have a fairly neat little package. And if you're going to eat your next meal, you would just pull that little point and it would all open up again and you would take it from the top. So at the end, when your bowls are all wrapped up again and clean, there's a final chant. The chant leader will hit the clappers. We will all say this together, and we say, may we exist like a lotus, at home in muddy water. Thus we bow to life as it is. We bow, we pick up our bowls, again with the two fingers in the front and the thumbs in the back. We elevate it over our eyes so we can see. We bow, and at this point everyone is going to stand up. We're going to exit the zendo and take our bowls out to the shelf where they are kept. So that is how to do your oryoki.